Steve Mariucci is in the house. Needs no introduction right here live on our show in Nashville. What's up, Mooch?
So you recovered from last night. Everything's good, right? Ready for this week?
We are ready for this week. I do want to describe when I first met you.
Uh-oh.
Hold on a minute. When I first met you, it was in,
league meetings.
No. Outside of that, socially, when I first hung out. Where did I see you for the first time?
Pantheon.
Pantheon in Rome.
In the piazza.
Susie and I were in Italy, and Mooch had just joined the NFL Network. We had just done the Super Bowl together, where you were.
That was my tryout.
Your tryout,
yeah.
And so Susie, we're having lunch at the Pantheon, and she goes, "I think that's Steve Mariucci over there." I'm like, "No, what? Get out of here!" I was in my seersucker, when in Rome,
we still can't
sport
find.
coat. We still can't find.
It's gone.
It never made it back from the Pro Bowl. I don't know what an idiot I was thinking I'm wearing a jacket like that at the Pro Bowl anyway. It's my fault. But you at the time, in that photograph, you were wearing an NFL golf shirt that you didn't pay for. And here you are right now in an NFL Draft 2019
that
golf
I didn't
shirt.
Pay for. Same thing. Some things never. And these pants, Rich, these are Under Armour pants from
you didn't pay for those?
From coaching that game with
Dion,
Kyler Murray, and Dwayne Haskins, and those guys.
Tell me about Kyler Murray in that game, Steve.
He's pretty quick. I mean, he gets on the field, man. He's just running around like, whoa. Rich, about 11 of our Under Armour kids are going to get drafted in the first round this year. Again, okay. Every year. Unbelievable.
What is happening with Kyler Murray, you think, right now? What is going on in the Arizona front office, based on your experience of having been in these conversations and being, on occasion, maybe overruled, or you saying, I want this guy, I'm pounding the table because I'm the coach, I've got the offensive system. What is happening, do you think, in Arizona right now?
I think they know what they're going to do, but they haven't mentioned it publicly. I think they know exactly what they're going to do.
Okay. So the hay is truly in the barn,
It's in the barn unless the phone rings with an astronomical...
The Godfather offer.
Yeah, I can't refuse it. So, but I think about this, Rich. Think about with Cliff. And Cliff's a good guy, all right? Mm-hmm. Here's a guy that was recruiting Kyler Murray out of high school to Texas Tech. And he's had some good quarterbacks over there, right?
Yeah.
Patrick Mahomes and Baker, all kinds of guys. Case Keenum is from Texas Tech. Anyway, he goes over to SC, and then all of a sudden he becomes the head coach. The stars are aligned right now for these guys, in my mind, all right, for Cliff and for Kyler Murray. Kyler Murray committed to Billy Beane over there with the 9th pick for the Oakland A's, and that was going to be a done deal. I went fishing with Billy Beane after that, and it was a done deal. He felt really good about it. Not so fast, Billy.
Okay.
And so all of a sudden he changed his mind. Why did he change his mind? Because somebody's in his ear, hey, now you can be a real high pick in the NFL and make more money than in baseball and ride a bus. So right now, luckily, Cliff Kingsbury and the Cardinals pick first and are trying to put together a scheme and system that he's not coming in to run the West Coast offense. He's coming in to run. They hired a scheme in Arizona, that college scheme. Well, who fits it the best? Kyler Murray is perfect fit. So right now the stars are aligned for Kyler to go into that scheme and for Cliff and Arizona to implement that kind of college offense. And they're not a very good team, right? Larry Fitzgerald can be one more year, and then he's gone. So they've got a rebuilding process. So they're going to do it together.
So why wouldn't they go ahead and do what you just mentioned with Murray and then call up Washington and say, all right, you need a quarterback. We got your guy in Rosen. We know you might be interested in him. Let's talk about it. And in return, we get Case Keenum.
Be perfect mentor.
Who knows perfect mentor, who knows the system, who knows Kingsbury. I mean, you want to talk about stars aligned, and then you get maybe whatever you can get for. I mean, whatever you have to do. Second, even if it's a third-round pick, you're getting more picks this year to supplement what they can do
no doubt.
For Kingsbury on the spot with that's what makes the most sense.
That again
if you can do it.
Would be stars are aligned because Case would be a better 2 than anybody there. Here's an experienced guy without a huge ego, right? That kind of knows all the moving parts, and probably could start for a while if need be.
But what makes no sense, right, is you can't have 2 kids in the quarterback room, right? You can't keep Rosen.
That would be gasoline in matches. You're talking about, because
right?
Josh Rosen is this smart guy that he moved up to number 10 to get him.
Yes, correct.
It wasn't just the 10th pick. They moved up to get him.
Right.
And so that's going to be egg on their face just by getting rid of him.
They got to move him if they take Murray, correct?
Yes. Yeah, no doubt.
And that's part of the reason why they don't have the leverage. As I've been saying, the reason why you might not be hearing about a first-rounder for Rosen or a second-rounder for Rosen has nothing to do with Rosen's ability. It has to do with the Cardinals' leverage position, which they got to – if they take Murray, they've got to trade. They've got to flip Rosen. The sense that they would keep both kids and figure it out makes no sense to me. They can't do that.
But I think there will be other suitors besides Washington that would want Josh Rosen.
Like who?
Let's say the Giants don't take a quarterback at 6. Let's say they take a great defensive player.
Because he'll be there, whoever that is.
Gettleman's going, I can get a Pro Bowler on number 6 on defense.
Yes.
Okay? And then you look at 17, Rich, and there are a handful of quarterbacks that are going to be there to choose from.
Who do you like best from that spot? Assuming Haskins is definitely not going to be at 17. Which one of these kids do you like that you may have put on the grease board, you've met, you've talked to? Or
I don't know all of them personally to make a quarterback evaluation and decisions.
Yes.
I want to live with the kid for a while. You know what I mean?
Sure.
And see if he knows how to eat with a knife and fork. Everything about him. All right. But Josh Rosen might be the most game ready. Let's say the Giants trade for Josh Rosen. Just whatever they give him, a 2. Okay. Mm-hmm. You got a guy that started games. He was 3-10.
He won in Lambeau.
He beat the Niners twice, okay? He's more ready than Drew Lock or Daniel Jones. But then you got the Cutcliffe factor, okay? Mm-hmm. That says, hey, Daniel Jones is a lot like Eli and Peyton, and he can do this as well, but not this as well. It's a good fit. I think he's going to have a voice in some of this, at least the evaluation process. But Josh Rosen is more ready to back up Eli this year than all the other guys. And so, but if they say we don't need a backup, Eli never gets hurt, we can go with one of the Drew Lock. Nothing wrong with Drew Lock.
Right.
He's a pretty athletic guy now, and he's a leader and a starter and all that for a long time. And Daniel Jones has got something to him. He's a tall guy that can run, and so. And Dwayne Haskins, does he fall that far? He might.
Oh, that would be something.
That would be something.
That'd be a surprise.
That's why the Giants have all those choices.
Steve Mariucci here on the Rich Eisen Show. What did you make of Ian's report about Mayock sending the scouts home and all that business?
So I texted with Mike. Mm-hmm. I was going to say I talked to Mike, but if you text and you say I talked to him, is that lying or is that?
Yes, that is. Yeah.
Texting. Is
you
not
communicated
talking.
with Mike. You communicated with Mike.
Yeah, that's what I did. So he said, Mooch. He says, this is not all that unusual, and it's really not, okay? You got to remember, those are Reggie McKenzie scouts. Those are not Mike scouts. Yeah. They didn't send the coaches home because those coaches are loyal to Gruden, and they know not to, loose lips sink ships, right? But the scouts were Reggie's scouts, and they were on the end of their contracts anyway. They were going to be replaced. Mm-hmm. And so their evaluations were in. They read reports. He
got all he needed from them.
All he needed from them.
Right.
There was no reason to have him help make decisions when everybody else in the building was still there. So it's not unusual. I've been in places where you lock the door and you put the thing over it and nobody can go in there, after.
You cover windows up, you mean? You're talking about?
No, cover the board up. The big board?
Yeah.
You know my board in my office at home?
Yes, I do. Yeah,
they
we've
would
seen
have
it.
I've seen it. Come down, lock it. So nobody can go in there and say, hey, we got Haskins rated number 2. No, it's not for the whole building to share with their neighbor, okay? It's private. And sometimes those things change. And so that's all that is.
And sometimes when those things get out and your current quarterback hears where you've evaluated these other young kids and you don't take that young quarterback, now you got a headache with your current quarterback when you didn't really need to. All you need to do is just send the scouts home early. Yeah. I didn't have a problem about hearing that.
No,
but everyone's like, well, there's dysfunction in Oakland and Gruden's, they're paranoid up there. It's
good. It was probably the prudent thing to do. Yeah.
Did you ever send scouts home like that?
Not send them home, because I've been in organizations that the scouts that were on board were coming back the next year.
Got it.
unless you were going to replace one or something, but
Right.
never been in that situation, but certainly locked up the information and were restrictive as to who's in that room on draft day.
Yes. Steve Mariucci here. All right, I'm gonna go here with you because I love you and you can handle it. 2000 draft, 3rd round.
We do this every year. I
don't know about every year, but I really want to take it.
I mean, we've done it all. We've done it all.
I mean, but I haven't really.
I still go to sleep after I say my prayers at night. I apologize for not drafting Tom Brady.
Well, what happened in the draft room that makes you go Giovanni Carmazzi? I mean, was Walsh in there? Who's in there?
Yeah.
Who's in there? It's you, it's Walsh.
Terry Donahue, Marty Morningway, Greg Knapp, all of us.
You're all in there.
All the coaches, everyone.
Right.
Okay, so why don't you just roll tape from last year's podcast?
No, we didn't know. First of all, it's a show. We're the podcast. But other than that,
multi-platform.
Just saying, we're on Instagram
I'm gonna have
Live
to give
now.
You a bit of a,
we're everywhere.
I'm going to have to give you a bit of a history lesson, okay?
Go for it.
We had a kid named Steve Young, all right?
I've heard of him.
Lefty, drove me nuts. I'd say, listen, Steve, in this offseason, go home and learn to throw with your right hand because I don't want to flip every play depending on who the quarterback is. Anyway, so he was an athletic guy. We're in the West Coast offense. You move him around and change launch point.
Yeah.
So previously we drafted a guy named Jim Druckenmiller from Virginia Tech. Big, strong guy, had a good-looking girlfriend.
Can't tell any of those stories, Mooch. Can't tell those.
Oh, so anyway.
What's her name?
Julie Cellini. I don't know. So anyway.
Oh, my God.
But we learned.
My stomach just cramped. I'm laughing so hard.
We learned that he was a big, strong guy. It was like his workout day. He was pushing this tire over, and he was like lifting weights. Everything. But he was. We loved him. Anyway, he was a drop back guy. Right? And we learned that he's not going to be able to do the things we want to do with the movement package. That's what we like. That's how the 49ers make their hay. Mm-hmm. So we kind of started differentiating the drop back category and the athletic category, okay? Mm-hmm. Tom Brady, your guy from Michigan, was in the drop back category.
Yes, he was.
And we probably to this day, if you watch that show that I was on, you know what I mean, with the Brady 6.
Yes,
pretty good show.
It is.
Anyway, I mentioned that we put too much emphasis on what? The measurables. The 5.28 or whatever, the slowest 40 ever recorded by a quarterback in the combine. We put too much emphasis on that and put him in that category, all right? We didn't measure his heart or his spine or those kinds of things, right? But he wasn't even much of a consideration because he was in that bunch. We needed that. Plus, Steve Young's coming back. I was hoping Steve Young would be there another 10 years, man, so I could keep living in the Bay. And so... So anyway, long story short, Gio Carmazzi, not because he was Italian, Rich. He'd probably never been to the Pantheon, all right?
He went to Hofstra.
I know, but he was a Rhodes Scholar. He was the point guard on the basketball team. He was 4'7". He was 6'2". He was one of those guys that we say, well, he's an athletic guy. Mm-hmm. He doesn't have to play. We can mold him. I didn't know he was going to be a goat farmer. All right. And so we took him, and it was because he was in that bunch of quarterbacks that we liked as athletes that we could groom.
Yeah.
Didn't want to play him right away. I was hoping he'd never have to play because Steve Young was my guy.
So did you ever at any point in time have a quiet moment with Bill Walsh and go, man,
did you see Bill's interview after? He goes, he's the exact right guy. He's going to be great. He's going to be this because of this, this, and this.
But would you ever revisit the issue with Bill? That's a yes. You don't want to say?
All right, Mooch. Gio Carmazzi's career stats.
Don't let him off the hook.
They
both, listen to me. They both started the same time in the Hall of Fame game. Mm-hmm. The Niners and the Patriots in the Hall of Fame
So
game.
Brady and Carmazzi were on the same Canton field?
Yeah. Gio went in. And Gio's listening to this, I'm sure, all right, watching this.
TB12 might be out there, too.
And Gio had a rough start.
3 of 7, 19 yards.
But don't be just a stat guy because it was
there's heart, there's spine.
But there was command in the huddle, all right? And Gio was struggling getting the plays out in the huddle. He was so nervous.
Right.
Poor kid was so nervous. And Tom went in the fourth quarter. Hell, he threw a touchdown pass. And I didn't expect Tom to be great. Nobody did at that time.
No, I understand.
No, but anyway,
what I'm saying to you is, have you ever at any moment before he passed, had a chance to sit down with Bill Walsh and say, man, if we had only known at the time we were choosing between the goat and a goat farmer.
He wasn't the goat then, and he didn't farm yet.
We eventually, who knew at the time? Here's the goat, and here's a man who farmed goats. Did you ever have that conversation with Bill Walsh?
Goat in the conversation.
I know it's a slight difference at the end of the day.
They were both goats. One was the goat. One was a goat farmer.
Just blink once for yes, two for no. Did you ever say?
I don't remember that conversation. Right. I do remember when Bill and I and everybody on board decided. See, we sent Gio. We sent him away.
Sent him away
to Europe.
To the goat farm.
No, farm. We sent him to Europe.
Pasture.
No, pasture. Europe.
To NFL Europe or whatever.
See if he could kick Kurt Warner's butt. I don't know. but then he got hurt. He hurt his shoulder, man. Give him a break. He's a good kid.
I know.
It wasn't his fault. We just thought we could groom him.
Mooch, I apologize that we put you through this.
He got hurt, Rich.
Yeah,
I'm sorry.
It's all good.
I'm sorry.
Every year. That's why I come here.
All right, let's take a break. We'll finish up the show with Mooch. I have no idea what we'll talk about, but you know it'll be great. That's next on the Rich Eisen Show. All right, what a show we've had so far. I want to thank Charles Davis for being here in hour number one. Kevin Calabro, the longtime voice of Sonics basketball and now the voice of Blazers basketball, talking about that Damian Lillard dagger that he stuck in the Oklahoma City Thunder last night. And I want to thank again Steve Mariucci hanging out here for one more segment. That was a lot of fun.
I'm waiting for Frank Caliendo to show up.
Oh, man.
By
the way, he loves you. He does a you know that?
Is he any good?
He's pretty good.
Yeah.
He likes the mooch hands. He
does the hands.
Your hands are pretty. Your hands.
Chris Farleyisms.
That's what he says. Yeah. He's kind of
crazy.
Yeah, I love him. He's an anytime guest, man. You are too.
Okay, thanks.
You are too, Mooch.
Did you go karaoke last night?
We did.
Without me?
Well, it's kind of a draft tradition. Didn't we do that right with me, you, and Eric Stone Street in Chicago when we were in our first Chicago draft?
Dinner. We had a nice dinner together, and then, Mooch was going to pack it in. I jumped in a cab. I was trying to jump in a cab. And Eric Stone Street grabbed me by the collar, and he goes, no, you're not going in there. We're going to karaoke. And so
it was like a live band karaoke, right?
Yeah, the band was playing, and you guys, I have that video. You guys all got on stage.
What did we sing again?
Friends in Low Places.
That's right.
Yeah. Yeah, that was bad. Because it kept going forever. It's like, when are we going to get off this stage, embarrassing the family? But that was fun. So, and then we've done it with Marshall and Kara, and
we've done it with Kara Henderson Sneed.
Yeah.
But that was in New York. That was years ago for a New York draft. It's amazing how many. It's now. I think it's been 5 years since the last NFL and NYC draft, right?
You know what?
Yeah, 2014.
The first, I don't know 10 years or wherever we did it together in Radio City Music. I thought it was awesome. I thought when they said we can't do it anymore because the Rockettes are scheduling or whatever, I was depressed. But I like this.
Yeah, I know.
Because Chicago did a heck of a job with it.
Philly was amazing.
Philly had 70,000 people watching you,
Right.
And then Nashville's off the charts again. This is fun.
I just hope tomorrow night, if the weather does in fact affect something, then the NFL might rethink. We got to have it where we figure out something where the weather can't affect the broadcast. Because, again, this is about broadcast television now. Mm-hmm. They've included ABC now. After 1 year ago, they included Fox. They want to make it big. They want to make it like the, State of the Union, where you can watch it on many different channels. It's huge. It just takes everything over. So it's about the broadcast. And they want to have a huge event, making it look big, 100,000 people in a big NFL American city like, say, Nashville, and have the visual and have it a big event. But if it's going to, if lightning hits tomorrow night, I don't want to keep saying it, but right now it looks like it's a 70% chance of a thunderstorm when they're putting the Cardinals on the clock.
Oh, boy.
I don't know if it's going to affect that, or they'll just say, well, we're going to have it in Vegas where it's, the only thing that can happen is, Mike Tyson's Tigers could break out of their, pen or something, like the hangover happens. I don't know what's going to make it, but I agree with you because me being a native New Yorker, obviously taking out of Radio City, I was bummed.
Yeah, it was fun. But this has been really good, moving it around and letting all these other cities go
bid on
bonkers.
it too. Yeah, I know.
And if it starts raining, yeah, people are going to go in the bars and all the clubs, and they're going to be happy because they're going to.
Right.
It's the lightning. That's
I know, and the thing I'm thinking about too is that the thing I enjoyed about the Chicago draft was, after years of hearing the draft hall go crazy over a Jet pick or a Giant pick, it was Bears, Packers, Vikings, right? It was a totally different universe of fans that could drive there. Obviously, having it in Nashville now, the Titans go on the clock, it'll be big.
Yeah.
Maybe when the Colts go on the clock, there's some booing. Falcons go on the clock. It was just an hour-long flight from Atlanta here. And what if the Saints go on the clock? Falcons fans are booing and vice versa.
When I flew in yesterday, Rich, from San Francisco, there were people on the plane coming from the Bay for this event.
That's great.
So, some were Niner fans, or Raider fans, because they're fired up. They have 3 picks.
Right.
But there was a father and a son that had New England Patriot hats on and all this stuff. People come in, they're making this a little vacation, a little event with some good bonding time with Dad. It's amazing,
right? Yeah,
the interest in this kind of a thing.
That's great. Yeah, last year we were in Dallas. The Redskins are on the clock. People are booing like crazy. Giants are on the clock.
It was great last year.
So moving it around shows off different passionate fan bases, which is what the NFL wants to show. They want to show off big, great, huge events in an American NFL city like Nashville, and show it off. Like I said, Friday and Saturday's weather's good. I just hope tomorrow that you and I aren't like bugging out. We might be in a shelter tomorrow night, Steve.
Yeah.
So make sure that the food's ready. I know that you'll get that right.
I'll have my briefcase full of like beef jerky or something. I'll be ready for that, Rich. I can't wait. I love this week.
The famed beef jerky briefcase. Thanks for coming on, bro.
Hey, thanks. All right, guys. Have fun the rest of the week.
Mariucci's here.
You're the best, Steve.
Steve Mariucci's here, right on The Rich Eisen Show.
For more of The Rich Eisen Show, tune to Audience Channel 239 on DirecTV for free on BR Live, or download The Rich Eisen Show app.